Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to a special weekend edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. 2 weeks until Survivor Series. Got your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift with the PAIV hashtag. So let's get started with the first one, which comes from RPA Brand. Hey Aaron, what do you think about this Bryan and Miz stuff? It seems like WWE is slowly trying to build to something. WrestleMania maybe? I highly doubt WWE is going to allow Daniel Bryan to wrestle. WWE has made it very clear they are not going to let Bryan wrestle due to the concussions. Now, what does that mean exactly with WWE teasing something between Daniel Bryan and The Miz? One would think that if there was no chance of Bryan being able to wrestle, the WWE would not keep doing these teases. I mean, the fans are starting to get confused now. What is going on here? Is WWE going to do some sort of match where Daniel Bryan has somebody representing him against The Miz? I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense here. I mean, I suppose WWE could do some sort of angle where Daniel Bryan lays out The Miz without taking any bumps, but I think that you are going to risk getting the fans disappointed if Daniel Bryan does not come back and actually get in the ring and have a full match, a full contact match with Bryan taking bumps and fans getting to see the Daniel Bryan of old. If that's not the case, if WWE has no intentions on allowing Bryan to work a regular match, then what I think they're doing is crazy. I think the idea of even teasing something, WWE is going to be setting the expectations too high. Because if it's somebody representing Daniel Bryan or Bryan doing the Bret Hart thing and not taking any bumps, you're going to have fans disappointed. I'm not really sure what the end result is with this Daniel Bryan-Miz storyline, but it seems like they are building to something, so I really don't know at this point. I'm not sure what WWE has in store for the fans, but again, if they want the fans to be satisfied, anything other than Bryan doing a full-fledged match, I think fans are going to be very unhappy, or at least somewhat unhappy, unless Bryan brings in Samoa Joe or something. Maybe you'll only have a small group of fans disappointed. But they're really taking a huge risk here if they're going to do something to end this Miz-Daniel Bryan thing rather than just drop it and move on to something else. This one comes from Gary O'Sullivan. Hey Aaron, do you see Randy Orton turning on Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series, maybe even costing Team SmackDown the match if Bray is the last member left? That's what I initially thought when WWE shot this angle with Orton joining the Wyatt family, but now there are reports that WWE might be doing Randy Orton versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania or even sooner. Undertaker is scheduled for the 900th SmackDown. So this takes a weird turn now. I mean, I thought Randy Orton was going to turn on Bray and Luke Harper, but now they may be going in a different direction. We may have Randy Orton as a heel going up against The Undertaker, so I'm not sure, but that would have made perfect sense for Randy Orton to turn on Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series, and that's how SmackDown loses the match to Raw. That would be a way for the SmackDown guys to lose without looking terribly weak. I'm not sure what direction WWE is going at this point. Now, maybe that's a good thing that I cannot predict it, but it is weird because the way it's going, you would think that Randy Orton is going to turn on the Wyatt family. It just makes logical sense with Randy Orton saying if you can't beat them, join them, you know, that whole thing. So it's really weird. I mean, I'm not sure at this point. I guess we'll see what happens when The Undertaker returns on SmackDown and what WWE does with Undertaker. One would think Undertaker is going to help out his brother Kane against the Wyatt family and Randy Orton. We'll see. This one comes from Daniel Jobber. So what did you make of that Raw ending, Aaron? First time in ages, Seth and Roman stood in a ring and stared without fighting. it is what it is. It's Seth Rollins being a babyface now, and because of that, him and Roman Reigns are going to be teammates, not necessarily friends. You know, they'll do the whole thing where they still haven't forgotten about the past, but they're both good guys, so they have common enemies, and they'll work together, and they'll be a team. And I think, you know, it's a way for WWE to try and get fans once again to cheer for Roman Reigns. I mean, we've seen this time and time again. WWE's using every single idea they can to try and get people to cheer for Reigns. They try and get The Rock. They try to get The Rock helping out Roman Reigns. They try to get The Rock to endorse Reigns. They tried to get Roman Reigns as this USA babyface taking out Rusev. And now they're trying to pair up Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins, hoping that this little mini Shield reunion will get fans cheering for Reigns. Will it work? I mean, I don't see it working in Toronto at Survivor Series, but maybe on some editions of Raw, Reigns will get a better reaction. Time will tell. Will he get a good reaction this week in the UK on Raw? Probably not, but we'll see what happens. Got this other one here from Daniel Jobber. What did you think of Bayley versus Nia Jax on Monday? It reminded me of why I'm glad that Nia Jax is on the roster. I'm a little bit confused because if Bayley is supposed to be the #1 contender for Charlotte, it did not make Bayley look very strong. It made Nia look strong as hell. I mean, when she ran over Bayley like a train, that was a really cool moment. That made Nia look like a complete monster. So it built her up. The problem is the women's champion is a heel. So, you know, if Sasha was the champion, then that would have been an excellent match to build up Nia Jax as a #1 contender, but Charlotte is a heel. So what does that mean exactly with Nia Jax? I'm not sure what it is accomplishing at this point, only to keep Nia strong, and I guess the idea is that Bayley is going to be this underdog babyface, similar to Daniel Bryan. You know, there's been reports that WWE is trying to make Bayley the female version of Daniel Bryan and make her the ultimate underdog and get the fans behind her that way. So that might be what they're trying to do, and have Bayley just trying to claw and scratch her way to the top and hope that the fans will get behind her more and more, and it just snowballs into something. At least that's what I would think they're doing. Who knows? I mean, I think that ideally it would have been better to have Sasha be the champion and have Nia Jax challenge Sasha. I mean, the thing is, Nia Jax can be your top heel, but she needs to be going for the title, and unless WWE's planning on turning Charlotte, then it's just weird to have the babyface #1 contender look so weak. This one comes from Robert Hansen. What is the more impressive streak, Undertaker or Goldberg? Am I the only one who wants to see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins at a WrestleMania? Please answer in video. Well, no doubt I would say that Undertaker's streak is more impressive, not just because it was longer, it was way longer actually, but also it's at the biggest stage, WrestleMania, and to have a streak go on for, what was it, 23 years? That is extremely difficult. Undertaker could have been injured and forced to retire early. He could have jumped to WCW. Any number of things could have happened, but Undertaker did all these WrestleMania appearances, 23 years. It's a streak that will never, I shouldn't say never, but most likely will never be repeated. Goldberg's streak was impressive, but it was also a very short period of time. Goldberg beat a lot of enhancement guys. He beat Glacier like 10 times. He beat Hugh Morris like 10 times. So, you know, they managed to cut corners with that streak. You know, Goldberg had a very impressive streak, no doubt. But Undertaker, I mean, there's nothing like it. Being able to go from year to year for many years and stay undefeated, and with the way WWE books, you know, they could have changed plans. The fact that Undertaker managed to win every single year and WWE went with Taker as the winner, you know, that's just something unprecedented, and I'm not sure if anything will ever top it. And as far as AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to see that match at WrestleMania, especially if we get a little taste of it at Survivor Series, which I talked about in the previous video. Got this one here from Ali. Why are we not having an Iron Man match or other stipulation matches in WWE lately? Hashtag PAIV1. It's simple, because the Iron Man match is 1 hour, and we all know how WWE is. They try to get everybody on the shows. WWE wants to have morale at a high level and make sure all the talent gets spots on the pay-per-views. And when you do a 1 hour Iron Man match, a lot of guys are going to miss a pay-per-view payday. I mean, that's the way it is. So with an Iron Man match, it does take away the spotlight from some people, and, you know, WWE is doing the political thing and trying to make everyone happy, so that's why we're not seeing 1 hour Iron Man matches. I would like to see one at some point. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen an Iron Man match, and I think it would be cool to do it again every now and then. And as far as other stipulation matches go, I'm not sure which other ones you're talking about. Maybe the Elimination Chamber, but apparently they are bringing it back this coming year, and if they're doing these brand exclusive pay-per-views, then there's definitely room for Elimination Chamber, and maybe they'll do a pay-per-view called Iron Man, you know, since they like to do the theme pay-per-views, and they'll have an Iron Man match. There's so many pay-per-views anyway, so, you know, I think that doing an Iron Man match, I mean, yeah, some people might miss out on a pay-per-view bonus or payday or whatever, but, you know, it would be something different to do an Iron Man pay-per-view. This one comes from DJ Whitty. Yo, Aaron, how come Raw gets that extra 15-20 minutes after the 3 hour mark and SmackDown gets cut odd right at the 2 hour mark? Because it's Monday Night Raw. I mean, that's the bottom line. It is the A show, and the ratings for Raw are still higher than SmackDown. I mean, Raw is still doing, you know, 2.7, 2.8 million viewers, and SmackDown's around 2.2, 2.3. Because of the fact that Raw has more viewers, USA Network will add the extra time onto Raw with the overrun, and that's what they've been doing for years. They haven't been doing it with SmackDown, so I don't think they should do it with SmackDown. I think 2 hours is just fine the way it is. So, you know, if SmackDown's ratings did start going up and they started getting close to 3 million viewers, USA Network might want to add that extra 15 minutes. But right now, there's no need. I mean, the 2 hour SmackDown format works fine, and no need to really make any significant changes and add even more television time than what's already necessary. With Raw, it's the A show. People are used to it. Got this one here from Cry Cry Dolls. Do you think Naomi is title worthy? I think she is really underrated performer, and she hasn't had many titles since FCW, or she hasn't had any titles since FCW. I don't think she's title worthy right now. I do not think they should build the brand around her. I think Becky should be the person that they build the brand around. Now, Naomi's getting pretty good reactions with her EDM entrance, with the lights and the costume and everything. But still, I think that Becky should be the focus. And if it's not Becky, it's going to be Nikki. So Naomi is kind of stuck there as the third babyface diva. I said it again. I said diva again. I said the D word. Dang it. She's going to be the third female babyface, and I do not see that changing unless she continues to be really over with her entrance and she continues improving in the ring. Maybe someday, but right now, I don't think it's going to happen. This one comes from Dante. If you were booking Bobby Roode, when would you call him up to the main roster and what show? Would you book him in a match for Triple H? I would not book him in a match for Triple H just because they look similar, and I think that's where you were going with that. I think if I was to put Bobby Roode on a show, I would go with SmackDown. I think Samoa Joe should be going on Raw so he can potentially feud with Brock Lesnar and maybe even feud with Roman Reigns. And because of that, I think Roode would be better suited for the SmackDown brand. And you can do Roode versus Randy Orton. You can do Roode versus AJ Styles, going back to TNA. They can feud in WWE. There are a lot of different guys you can have Bobby Roode go against on SmackDown. Same thing with Raw too, but I just think I would prefer Joe on Raw and Roode on SmackDown. And Nakamura, either show would be fine, but I sense Roode would be better on SmackDown. I don't know, that's just my gut feeling. And this one comes from Grant Davis. If you could ask 1 to 3 wrestling questions knowing you would get the absolute truth for an answer, what and who would you ask? #PAIV. There are a few wrestling mysteries that I would be curious to know what really happened. Obviously the Chris Benoit situation, what was going through his head, why did he do it, why did he murder his son and his wife, if he even knew the reason why. That is one of the biggest mysteries that I would like to know the absolute truth, and we may never know. The other thing is, why did Vince blackball Randy Savage? What really happened? Was there really something that happened between Randy Savage and Stephanie McMahon? I know that's the big rumor that has been going around for years. That would be something I would like to ask Vince McMahon. Why was Randy Savage blackballed from WWE TV for so many years? That's definitely one of the big mysteries people have wanted to know for the longest time. Next question comes from Andrew. Could you see a situation added at Survivor Series where the winning brand of each match gets to pick a person or team from the other? I like that a lot. I think that at Survivor Series, it would be nice for there to be something on the line, not just bragging rights. What they could do is have, since there are 3 matches, 3 Survivor Series matches, you could have a best out of 3, and the brand that wins 2 out of 3 gets somebody from the other roster, anybody they want of their choosing. I think that would add to the intrigue for Survivor Series and make the matches even more important, knowing that something is on the line. So I would definitely consider doing something like that for Survivor Series, and we'll see if WWE does add a stipulation like that. Why not? Put something on the line. Make it really important. Make it really impactful. Got this one here from Ryan. Do you think the WWE is happy with the women's Hell in a Cell match? Do you think we'll see another crazy match for women like TLC or Hell in a Cell? I'm thinking WWE was happy for the most part. I'm sure they were not happy with the crowd reaction at the end, and they were not happy about the tables not breaking. I think that we will see another hardcore style women's match. I think we will see a female ladder match, whether it's at TLC or maybe next year, Money in the Bank. I think that's the next one. I think eventually we will see a female Money in the Bank match, and maybe even a female Elimination Chamber match. I could definitely see both of those matches happening at some point. WWE will want to keep doing those kind of matches since they've never been done before, and WWE can continue to promote the women as doing new things, and WWE breaking ground by putting the women in these matches and showing that they're at an equal level as the guys. So I think we'll continue to see the women doing the same kind of matches as the guys. But will the women main event a pay-per-view? That I'm not so sure about. Again, if Ronda Rousey comes in, I could see a possibility of a women's match main eventing WrestleMania, but that's the only way I could realistically see it happening. And, I think Vince might not be crazy about putting the women in the main event again, since the match at Hell in a Cell didn't get the biggest reaction that I think a lot of people were hoping for. This next one comes from Broken Time Marshall. What do you think killed Lance Storm's WWE career? Turning him into a comedy goofball or having Stone Cold chant boring? I think both of them were obviously factors, but the whole boring thing came first, I believe, and then they turned Lance Storm into a comedy wrestler. The boring thing was the kiss of death for Lance Storm. When you go out there and you start calling a wrestler boring and the fans start chanting boring at the wrestler, they're just going to keep doing it, just like with Sheamus, you know. The fans started chanting, "You look stupid," and that wasn't even a wrestler that was encouraging those chants. That was just the fans the night after WrestleMania 31 thinking Sheamus looked stupid and chanted it, and then all the other crowds started doing the same thing, and, you know, it really hurt Sheamus because nobody could take him seriously. So yeah, when Austin did that, I mean, yeah, it really hurt Lance Storm because you do not want to expose a guy's weakness. And yeah, he might be boring, he might be monotone, you know, he's always serious, but to do the boring thing, you know, it basically tells the fans that, hey, this guy really is boring, so why care about him if he's boring, you know? That'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the NoDQ.com Hall of Fame polls up on NoDQ.com. And check out the videos I did with good old JM Jeff Meacham. Jeff will be back soon with Talk Wrestling and After the Bell. And he will be part of the Survivor Series predictions, hopefully, and him and I will be doing a Survivor Series post-show together. I'll be in Southern California for that, reunited with Jeff in person. So stay tuned for all that, and Jeff and I will be doing NoDQ.com year-end award videos coming up later this month. Check out the videos with David Payne, The Pop, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Survivor Series. I will see you guys next time.